Entrepreneurs, and I own the Vicki Says Let's Talk. It's a coaching and consulting agency. And tonight on our business spotlight, we have Stella Hankins. Here is our women on one of our chamber members, and we're going to highlight her artistic abilities. Stella's been around the world, and she has some really unique and creative ideas in the way that she depicts with her art. I just love her language with her artistic abilities. Stella, you want to come on and just kind of say hi and tell everybody a little bit
Hi.
about what you do?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Vicki. Thanks for having me. My name is Stella
Absolutely.
Hankins, and I am a fashion illustrator, artist based here in Wichita, and my work primarily focuses on beauty and fashion. And yeah, I love using color, and most of my work stylized, so I try to express it in different ways through illustration, murals, just different creative outlets that I've been trying out this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Your fun images. I've really got a kick out of them.
Thanks.
Let's see, for weddings, let's see, you go to a wedding and create the images of the guests there. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. So I just added that recently, probably in the last 2 weeks, to be honest.
I know it's very new.
Yeah, I officially added that, and we were kind of talking about this earlier, where Wichita is such a great city where you just kind of throw it out there and you can just try what you want, and people are very supportive with that. And that was the case with this. I wanted to do more illustration work, and I wanted to travel a little bit more too. And I just came across a friend of mine doing a similar thing, and it's a very popular thing to do in the fashion illustration community, going to different events and illustrating the guests or the products or what have you. And I know in Wichita, weddings are very popular, and I just decided to start doing weddings and different events and just seeing like where it all takes me. And yeah, so I'm very excited about it. It's gonna be
Nice.
really
Yeah,
cool.
and it's very fun. Your illustrations are so fun. So fun.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
and so we were just also talking about you doing murals, right? You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I booked a couple murals as well, and I think it's just a matter of just understanding like the right time to do it. I've been approached a couple times to do murals, and I didn't have time because I'm a product-based business also, so that takes a lot of time, but now I'm in a transition phase, so murals are something that I'm kind of pursuing and trying out, and I've booked a couple murals as well, and so I'm very excited about that. And again, those are going to be very bright, colorful imagery focusing on fashion and beauty. And so primarily people that are attracted to that are salon owners or hairstylists or boutiques and different department stores. So they're kind of arranging with me to have a mural in their building. It's great advertising. It's great way to attract customers. It's very eye-catching. So yeah, I'm excited to do
Absolutely.
that and to
I
help
was thinking that of where
that.
you would be painting the murals, even like in dressing rooms of the boutiques.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Wouldn't
So,
that be
and
fun? Wouldn't that be
it's
fun?
I know, and I love fashion and beauty so much. So just being in a store or in an atmosphere like that is just so rewarding also, and just seeing how creative those business owners can get too, and just kind of coming together and collaborating on just some imagery to, express that world, because it's such a fun world, like beauty and fashion.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just
You
I'm
can't
so
help but
passionate
look
about.
at your art and not smile. I'm telling you, it just makes me happy
That's
to
the
look at
point
it.
of it. Yeah, that's the point of it. I
Hmm.
think I've gone through a lot in my life, and I think my goal and my purpose is to make people happy, and to, get in touch with their authentic selves through my creativity. So that's what I try to do.
Okay, so you do the events and you do the murals and your products. You said product based business. Touch on that for
Hmm.
just a second.
So
What
yeah,
products
so
can
I
purchase?
I started I started my business pre-COVID, and when I say pre-COVID, it was about a month before COVID, and there was no kind of I think the context of when I started my business, people weren't really concerned with what was happening. Like, we all thought it was kind of going to go away, or hoping. I don't think it was a concern issue. It was just trying to see the best, right? And for me, I had friends overseas, and COVID was really devastating over there. So I started my business, saw that happening, and I decided to just change everything and focus on mass production. And we did that successfully for 9 months or so. And then I transitioned back into focusing on our accessories. And our accessories include scarves, scrunchies, bandanas, and then my illustration work. So the cool thing about our products is that I create the textile designs for those. So I draw all the prints and patterns that you see, and I get them. I used to print them on the fabric physically myself, and I got to the point where it was so much work that I actually am outsourcing that. And
Yeah.
so we played around with different ways of doing the product assembly. So currently, I do have some seamstresses that work on and off that are in recovery. I'm 6 years sober, and so I have some women that. Thank you. And that was the cool thing about the mass production is everything was shut down. So I was able to kind of gather or recruit like 6 or 7 women or so who had a desire to want to sew and to be employed while everything was shut down. So I said, okay, I'll teach you how to sew. And then that was that chapter for our business. I tried to continue that into our product production for our scrunchies and scarves, but it wasn't the thing for us to do. So now I'm working with different nonprofits and donating to them per month and helping support their mission, because it was a lot for one person to like teach people how to sew, and then I have to do the textile designs, and then I have to arrange and be responsible for selling our products also. So it was just a lot, and I hope further down the line that I can have a program or something that will help women and teach them how to sew, because it's such an important skill set too.
It is. Yeah. Some
So
type
that's
of
kind of like
apprentice program.
yeah, that's kind of the rundown of our products. And I think it's a very interesting thing for me to get into, because I studied fashion design, and now we're going into dress production. I recently just went to Istanbul and looked at facilities to do dress production and to produce silk dresses and kind of stay on the theme of silk for us. And so that's kind of like where I'm at right now. It's a lot of unknowns and a lot of different. It's been the most different than any other
I
year.
love that you're an adventure taker.
Yeah, it kind of I love it too. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, so, but I think it is like adventure is great, and planning and trying different things is really great and really important in business, because what your initial idea is, you get very attached to. And I think that life and circumstances change, and you kind of have to be very open-minded to pivoting and looking at different opportunities with the just the life of your business. Right. That's what I've had to learn.
That's one thing we can guarantee is change. That's the only thing we can guarantee.
Yeah, and I'm not one for change either, so owning a business is kind of funny that
that's
I
funny.
happen to do this. Yeah,
so that's funny for you to say that.
Yeah, I've been learning that. I have to be kind of mindful and present, and that's something that's I've learned from recovery too, and I've taken into my business, is like, be mindful, be present, and look at opportunities that you aren't necessarily thinking of, right? And I've been very, very grateful that I'm able to do that and see the rewards from that. So that's a huge.
I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. As a business consultant and a coach, I'm always helping other ladies learn how to say yes to opportunities and recognizing an opportunity when it comes. They say opportunities always look better leaving than coming. Mm-hmm. You can recognize them after the fact. So how do you, or how can you tell other people what brought you to the way of your ability to say yes to an opportunity? Where did that come from for you?
That's a great question. And I think that my answer, I hope people, I think this is a community where we can all like understand this, is that I do meditate and pray, and I try to be connected with the present moment and my intuition, right? And I think that we're all gifted with that. Whether or not we tap into that is completely our choice. And I know that I'm able to say yes to opportunities that light me up inside. I have opportunities every day. People want me to design a logo or do graphic design work. Not my thing. Not at all. I get excited about traveling and illustrating an event or doing something like a trade show or anything like that, I get excited about and I listen to that. And if that's something, and I have to distinguish between fear and excitement because it's the same thing. And for me, I have to realize, like, okay, am I just scared because I'm scared of failure, or am I scared of it going wrong? Why am I scared about it? And I have to be very, very in touch with myself, because if I'm not, then I'll keep learning this. The universe will throw the same lessons at me to learn, especially in my business, and I might feel stagnant. That's what happened last year for me. I didn't feel like I was growing because I was not paying attention, basically, and this year kind of changed. Everything just changed and shifted because I became open-minded and more receptive to what I'm supposed to be doing and what my business is actually supposed to be. It's not something, instead of the expectations I thought other people had of my business. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to be more,
I get
yeah,
it
I'm trying to be more in tune with that. And I talk to a lot of business owners, and they're always like, yeah, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. And I'm like, I totally was in that same boat, and I decided, no. Like, what makes me actually happy, because life is about having fun. And I'm not saying that in like a way of ignoring responsibilities, but if it doesn't bring you joy, you're not going to be successful.
Bingo.
Yeah. If you're not having fun with what you're doing, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not laughing it, yeah, exactly. Why are you doing it? And you can even have those struggles with a business that you start, right?
Yes.
I thought my natural,
definitely.
yeah, and I thought my natural thing was to have a store because I'm a product-based business. Well, I opened up a store, and I knew 2 weeks in that I wasn't going to be happy with it. So I continued to try it out for 5 more months, and then I even limited our hours of being open just on Fridays and Saturdays, and I still wasn't happy with it. And then I just was open on Fridays, and I still couldn't do that. So I was like, okay,
I can understand that.
Yeah, you're not meant to have a store. It's okay. And I'm like, well, I feel
you're
like
too free of a spirit to do that.
Right. But, and I had to look at my circumstance, for example, and be like, okay, so you have the store, you don't like it being open. Okay, accept that and work with what you have in your space. So what can you do with this space? How can you utilize it? How can you generate revenue with it? Because you're stuck with it because you committed to
Right.
it, and it's your responsibility. So it did have to, but that was the exciting part for me, was like, I got to sit and say, like, this is cool. This is an opportunity for me to be creative in business, because you have to be creative in business, because you'll get put in a position like that where you're like, oh crap, this is not what I expected anything to be. And I'm now with the lease, and, I tried it out, and I didn't let fear get in the way of that, so if I didn't have my space, I wouldn't have opportunities now. So exactly. So that's why you have to distinguish why you're scared and what are the reasons. And I have to like physically write it down. So your intuition, for sure.
Yes.
You trust,
that gut feeling,
intuition.
that visionary. Yeah.
And get connected with it too.
You do. Yeah. You definitely do. If it doesn't feel right, then it's not.
No. Yeah, exactly. And just trust it, and you'll see why you're saying yes or why you're saying no further down the line. Like you said, like that's a really cool way of saying it, is like, it's an opportunity when it passes by, and I don't want to have those moments, and that
exactly.
The studio was that, the studio for me, my physical location was that it was an opportunity, and the price for rent was great. The people I was doing it, or my landlord is amazing. He's letting me paint on the door, he had no idea what I was painting, but he let me do it. So I have support here. And I knew that was going to be something that I would miss out on if I said no.
Absolutely. So. And I like to say, I teach a lot of ladies the fact they're like, I'm so nervous. And it's like, let's change that. Let's change that over to I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. I do that. Uh-huh. Taxes.
Once you think about it being exciting,
that's what I do with taxes. I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous. And then I'm like, I'm so excited. Let's go.
Let's get them done.
Exactly. Let's get it done so you can get some other stuff.
Absolutely.
So you can do the things.
Some really great tips. Thanks. I appreciate that. I think a lot of ladies especially, think that once they start their business, they have to stay on that path and just stay
Everyone
on that
does.
path.
Nobody wants to
And
fail. Everyone, we're
yeah,
taught
you can
not to
juggle.
fail. We're taught from a young age that failure is bad. And I grew up with parents that were very like, let me explore and let me fail. And that was cool, but I still had that mentality of like, if I fail, game over, and I'm in
Yeah.
recovery too. Like I'm like I can get very self-destructive, and so failure for me is it's very important to look at it a different way, in a healthy way. So I am not taking it out on myself, because
True.
because
So
people
you're
do
hard
that.
on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 Failure is, I grew up with, that was a stigma too. But failure, I've come to grips and to embrace the idea that at least you tried something, at least you're moving forward, at least you're trying and you're doing. And if
Yeah.
it's education, you have to pay your educational costs one way or another.
Exactly. And how do you, it's like riding a bike. That's how I always think of things that I try out that's new, right? You're gonna fall and you're gonna fall and fall. Like my knees were bloody when I first started riding a bike. I didn't go on training wheels, and it's kind of how I approach things now, right? I don't really like ease into it. I just jump right into it, right? And I will
Full
fall
steam ahead.
hard, right? But I learn a lot in that fall. And so that's kind of how I think of things today, is like if something's new for me. And I think the older the older I get, I know for this for sure, I get a little bit more comfortable, and I try not to lose that adventure, and I try not to lose that curiosity that kids have, like you did it when you were a kid. I try not to lose that. And so that's why I'm so grateful for my art. It lets me reconnect with that. But yeah, so I just kind of just dive into it and just see what
Right.
happens.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely. I think that is something that excitement, if everybody could put that excitement in their business, in the decision making, they could really move forward with their goals a little bit faster and more comfortably.
Yeah, because the only person that limits you is yourself, really. Because
That's right.
I'm not saying,
Absolutely.
Vicky, you can't do this, and you're not saying,
You can
Stella,
say
you.
it, but
Yeah, exactly. But nobody says that. Like, who says that in your
right.
life? Nobody. I've never had anyone saying, Stella, you're not going to be able to do that, And if they, or maybe I don't listen to it, I don't know, but it doesn't happen, right? I'm telling
You're
myself
bulletproof
that,
from it. Yeah. You
you
let it
know.
bounce off of you. Yeah. Good. Um, so how can we help you with your business? How can the Chamber of Women Entrepreneurs and all of our viewers help you?
I think with my business, like, the obvious things are just like supporting and following and engaging with my work is so nice for any artist, and I think
Sure.
what I want people to do is just be very supportive of local art. I think that's something that will help just Wichita grow with their art scene, because what's happening is that we have very talented artists here, but they don't see opportunity, they don't see the support, and so they leave. And we don't want that, so by just supporting, if you have a Facebook friend or somebody who is an artist, just like their post, just follow them, just say, hey, that's a great painting. It means the world to them. It really does. It lights me up, just simple things like that.
I
It
think
keeps
that's
us,
with any business.
yeah, it keeps us going. I'm not asking you to buy things from me. I'm asking just to say, hey, good job, like you're doing awesome. Keep
Exactly.
going, and just connecting with your fellow business owners and artists too, and just seeing like what their process is. I think that's great.
Absolutely. In fact, on the Chamber of Women Entrepreneurs Facebook page, scroll down a few days ago and I had a post on there, how you can help your friend in business without spending a dime.
Oh yeah, I love those. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
because I think that means more, like it means more, because right now, like where I'm at with my business, it's the first time I'm not really focused on money, and I'm not really focused on sales. Is it scary? Yes. Do I know it's going to pay off? Yes. but it's still scary,
Same.
right? So I'm
Absolutely.
focused on looking at the support from my peers and other people in my life, like by just comments, by just showing up. I had a friend come by today to look at the mural. I didn't ask them to come by or anything. They just came by because they knew I was painting it, and just little things like that I think is really, really cool. So yeah, I think that means
Absolutely.
more than I think I can remember those moments honestly than, somebody buying a scrunchie. But we appreciate you buying the stuff too. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
By
It
all
all
means,
goes
your
hand in
products and
hand.
services are there, and everybody,
Yeah.
those that want them, get them. You're not saying not to do that, but in addition to that, you would love the additional support by people sharing and commenting and sharing you out to the world. It helps. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
And so, while I've got this little accountability team up here, that's part of the Chamber of Women Entrepreneurs to help other women um, move forward with their goals. It's a weekly accountability group so they can identify their goals and move forward with those in a measured activity per
Oh,
week.
very
Tell
cool.
everybody, yeah, it is. It's very cool. And so for less than $75 in 3 months, you could actually achieve certain specific goals. I mean,
That's pretty
think about that.
powerful.
It
Yeah.
is. When you look at it in terms of dollars,
Yeah,
$24.97 a month.
I've definitely, I'm sure
Boom.
you have stories too of like coaches or different things that you've spent just, I've spent thousands, when
Oh
it's like
my.
just having a support
Yes,
group is just probably the best thing that I have found. And I have a couple of those that
absolutely.
I'm in now. So yes, that's awesome.
Absolutely. So by all means, tell everybody how they can find you on Facebook and on your website.
Yeah, so you can find me. My website is bellabonitadesigns.com, and all of our social media links are Bella Bonita Designs. So just at Bella Bonita Designs we have TikTok where I talk about sobriety, just personal stories and recovery. I get a little bit more intimate on TikTok, and Instagram's the same way, Bella Bonita Designs. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at is Instagram and TikTok. And on our website, I do blog posts also. So
Very good. And we're on
yeah.
Facebook, Instagram,
Oh yeah, Facebook
LinkedIn,
also.
and
Yep. Yep.
yeah, yeah, you
Well,
bet.
cool.
So I tell you what, we're going to end our conversation here. And there was something I was going to say. Goodness, I know it was really smart too. Oh, I cracked myself up. What do you do? Are you have big plans for the weekend?
Oh, I'm working. I'm going to finish up this mural, and hopefully I can catch the last little bit of an art show that's happening just down the street. So we'll
Very good.
see about
And we
that.
are
So
nationwide, so by all means. And so anybody having a wedding or any kind of a gathering that would love to
yes,
capture the moment, get a hold of
please.
Stella.
Yeah,
She would
please. It takes
love,
me
love, love.
Yeah, it takes me about 8 minutes to draw one person, and I can draw a wedding party, illustrate your wedding dress before, and just do all sorts of different cool stuff.
How
So you
fun
can
would
find
that
that
be?
on
That'd be great.
Instagram. Yeah, and
You
just feel
bet.
free to shoot me a message too.
By all means. And we have a wedding group that you're into, so all things Wedding
Yeah,
Wichita.
it's
This
very
this video
cool.
will be in there too. So very
Very
good.
cool.
Well, thanks again so
Awesome.
much for spending time with us this evening. And if you weren't able to catch us at the beginning, go in and hit the replay. Hashtag replay. Tell us where you're from. Make some kind of comment. Excuse me. In the stream. And if you'll put your links in that stream later, that'd be good too.
Very cool. Yes.
So, all right, we're gonna hop off.